Okay. Everyone, beautiful, beautiful to see you here. It's an absolute pleasure each week. I always feel although we're online, although we're all the way across the other side of the world, most of us, I always feel really, really connected with many people in the community, many people who send me messages, many people who jump on these calls. It's been very, very cool to keep the communication going and to be in a space of supporting, helping each other. And I love that. I love everyone. A lot of you guys have supported me as well in the call I have tomorrow. So I'm going to be running a workshop tomorrow. I know many of you have reached out to me, and Barb has reached out and said she'll be there. But it's a workshop for the Impact, the Digital Impact Festival, and it's a big, big, big festival, online festival filled with not only music, but a lot of transformational speakers. And I'll be one of them. And so it's very, very cool to have your support and hear your feedback. And I feel very, very part in the community. And I'll be talking not only about mindset, which is my bread and butter and my passion, but also coupling that with business, which is what I'm going to be getting to more and more of, because I feel this is where you can serve at the highest level, is where not only do you have an energy that is connected to who and what you are, but you use that energy to serve in the way that you're here to serve. And if you're being called to grow an online business, and if you're being called and pulled to, build something that's exciting, something that's fun, then I'm going to be showing the strategies that I used to build my community, and also to meet the people that I met and to collaborate with the people I've collaborated with in a very simple and easy way. And I'm going to be coupling both those things, mindset and all the emotional work, coupled with business strategy, so that you can build that business from a place of love, generosity, kindness, right? From a place of service. Very, very aligned. I will put the link in. 1 second. I'll give me 2 seconds to find it. So this will be, I'll put the link in there. You'll get an email. And so you'll get a link. There's like I said, about 50 workshops that'll be run over, over 4 days. My workshop is tomorrow, and it's in an hour's time. So right now it's 10 a.m. for me, and it's 11 a.m. my time tomorrow. So that's 6 p.m. Pacific time. 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow will be my workshop. So you'll be able to grab the link. And it's for such a cool, it's what we're all about. It's creating content. It's creating a platform for amazing speakers and events and artists. But then also a lot of that content and that awareness goes towards some really cool, impactful causes. And so it's great. It's a place where people can just be in a space of giving, place of service. And so I'm really, really looking forward to it. So jump on that link, and you'll get the email with all of the schedule. And also people who are friends with Jennifer Forster from the community. She's on the Sunday. So Sunday, same time as mine, Sunday, 6 p.m. on 6 p.m. on Sunday, yeah, Pacific Standard Time. And so you can jump on hers as well. I connected her with the organizer, and I also connected my friend Zeus and Regina. So plenty of people on there that I was also able to make those introductions. And Zeus and Regina are from Gaia TV. They've got a big platform as well. So it's awesome to make that introduction and connection. Very, very cool. So I look forward to seeing you guys there and sharing a bit more about the business side of things that I don't share very often, but I think it's very, very important. Very, very important. And it's going to be very cool. Any questions come out of there, just let me know and I'll be happy to help you guys out. But for now, it's awesome to just take some time to breathe. Whenever you breathe and get present, you become more aware, and the awareness starts to increase at just deeper and deeper levels. So this is what I find whenever I sit down in my chair, this one right here, I just start to sit and notice what I wasn't able to notice before. And you can start to do this now. As every time, just take some time to breathe in deep. And as you breathe in deep, you might want to focus on your heart. Just taking some time to breathe. Notice that energy that's flowing through your body. You might notice some tingling or some sensation or some tension or relaxation, whatever it may be. Just feel that energy throughout your body. And just get present to that energy that beats your heart, that gives you life. What you may find is that the more you breathe, the more you recognize your thoughts. And the more you recognize your thoughts, the more you realize that I am not those thoughts. You can just become the conscious awareness that just holds the space. And if you hold the space for those thoughts to be there without judgment, right, without resistance, you can just observe them. What you'll find is that they don't have any control over you. Notice this difference. As you breathe, notice the difference between there are thoughts happening right now. There are thoughts that are circulating right now. There are thoughts coming up right now. Compared to that is my thought. If it's your thought, then that's an identity that's attached to you. And even if it's a negative thought, you won't want to get rid of it because you'll be getting rid of a part of you. If it's your thought, then you have a very, very different relationship with it. But if they're just thoughts that are coming up and there are thoughts here, it's a completely detached relationship where you can observe them. You can choose the ones you want to have more often, but you're not attached to them. Let me say this again because it's really important. If you think a thought is yours and it's like, this is my thought, even if it's negative, you won't want to get rid of it because at some level it's part of you, and the ego never wants to get rid of a side of you, right? You have that attachment. It's like when we have it's like when you, we hear this all the time of people who smoke and they don't want to smoke, but they continue to smoke time and time and time again. That's because they have the identity around being a smoker. And although they recognize it's damaging to their health, it's damaging to their lifestyle in all areas, they can't get rid of it until they shift their identity, right? If they identify as a smoker, it'll be very, very tough to overcome the external patterns. Same thing with the thoughts. If you identify with the thoughts, if you're like, I've had this thought for a long time, and this is just who I am, and this is my thought, very different relationship. But as you breathe right now, and as you breathe deep, you can create that shift from this is my thought to there are thoughts. There are thoughts coming up. There are thoughts here. You can observe them. And the more you observe, the more you separate yourself from them. The more you separate your identity from them. And as a byproduct, you'll start to feel more of who and what you are without the thoughts. You'll start to feel more well-being. You'll start to feel like everything that's causing stress or drama or frustration or doubt, yes, it can all be felt. But it can also be all released, because that just comes from thoughts, comes from beliefs. So who and what are you without any thoughts or beliefs? If they were separated right now, if they were moved on, who would you be? Crystal says, I just am. Yeah. Pretty sure that's in a famous book. I am that I am. I forget what it's called. I think it's the Bible or something. So the more you can breathe in this space of just being, notice that love, that well-being, that peace, that joy that naturally comes up. It just naturally comes up when you drop the patterns, when you drop the beliefs. I find this fascinating. A lot of people are trying to get there, trying to get happy. A lot of people are trying to get motivated, not realizing that it's who and what we are. It's not what we have to do. It's what we have to let go of. It's not what we have to do to be happy or to be joyful or peaceful or live in abundance. It's who and what we are. It's what we need to remember and what we need to let go of so that we can remember the truth. Can you start to feel that when you sit there and breathe? I get goosebumps when I talk about this. And it's not because I'm cold. So Kayla says, yes, letting go of everything outside of self. The truth is inside, and the answers, things we seek, it's inside. Exactly. Exactly. Truth bumps. I love it. So let's take a moment and realize what Kayla said just here. If you're breathing right now and you're starting to distance yourself from the thoughts, the beliefs, and you're starting to naturally feel this well-being, this abundance, this love, this joy, what you can also start to realize is everything that you want, everything that you're after, everything you think you desire is here now. It's here now. How crazy is that? I had trouble with this. I really did, because I was in the achiever mindset, right? The achiever phase of consciousness, where I was always getting somewhere else. The focus was always on what you can achieve, what can happen next, what you can, the goal you can get to. When I realized what I'm really after, deeply what I'm after, is here now. A whole bunch of weight just fell off me. A whole bunch. So Crystal's saying, prove it. Awesome. Here's the question. When you want to achieve something, why is it that you want to achieve it? Why is it that you want to achieve that thing or get that money or get that goal or that relationship or whatever it may be? Exactly right. It's the feeling every single time. It's the feeling that we're after. We just have this belief that says, I need that to feel this way. I need to achieve this to feel this way. I need this certain amount of significance or status or external love or, right, or external circumstances, events for me to feel how I want to feel. What we just discovered was that when you drop the stories, the thoughts, the beliefs, those deep feelings that you truly are after flow from within naturally, because it's who and what we are. That's the reminder that I remind myself every single day, time and time again. Throughout the day, probably 7 or 8 times, I'll deliberately just pause, even if I'm not in meditation. If it's before a client call, if it's before a Zoom call like this, if it's before, workshop, whatever I'm doing, I'll just sit there and I'll just feel this abundance. I'll just feel this well-being, this joy, remind myself that everything that I want, deeply want, is here now, and it flows in abundance. And everything I want is what I really am. Right? What my ego wants in terms of more love or prestige or status or, more things, whatever, always leads to what I actually am. Infinite possibility, unconditional love, gratitude. This is who and what we are. What we are is unconditional love. I remember making this connection when I was studying coaching. I was learning from Tony Robbins and I was going through all these deep patterns of psychology and realizing that we develop these beliefs of what we need to achieve in order to feel enough from childhood, and their beliefs. What we're deeply after is unconditional love. We believe if I achieve that thing, if I set this business, get this amount of money, if I have this certain amount of significance or safety, security, then I'll feel enough. Then I'll feel unconditionally loved, or at least loved. But we're after that unconditional love. What it turns out, the truth is, when you sit down, you can feel this yourself. Or you didn't have to believe me, you can feel it yourself. When you sit down and you meditate, you naturally feel that unconditional love. You realize that you are that unconditional love, that you thought that external thing was going to get you. Is that not mind-blowing? It is for me. And I think, how the hell does this world not know? Especially in the Western world. Right? How have we caught onto this? Yeah, we probably have governments that are putting us in fear. Right? But with the world that we live in, how we're all connected, surely this is what's emerging. Surely this is what's emerging, is a higher level of consciousness. And that's what I love doing, is heightening the level of consciousness so that we can build businesses from this conscious place. Right? And that's what I'll be talking about in my workshop tomorrow. For those of you who just joined, I put a link in the chat. I might put it again. I'll be running the workshop talking about this and how to link it to business and linking it to the the business strategies that I've learned over my time. So you can build a community, you can build your network, you can sustain your business in an aligned way, that feels heartfelt and that is your purpose. And so it's 6 p.m. tomorrow Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. So it's in half an hour's time, but tomorrow. So feel free if you guys want to share that with anyone. It's a huge event online and it's going to be really, really cool. So Dawn has her hand raised. I'm not sure if that was a mistake, Dawn, but if you want to jump on and have a chat, we can definitely make that happen. Maybe anyone who wants to have a chat, type in 1 in the chat box. If you want to come on live, talk with me. It's up to you if you want to be on video or not. I should have said it's a mistake. I will lower your hand, your virtual hand. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat, especially about this or anything else that's coming up in the form of mindset or business, whatever it may be, feel free to jump on and type 1 in the chat. We can jump on and have a chat. If not, we can continue on this wavelength, because I think this is a reminder that is so deep. First of all, type in yes if you're following. Type in yes if this helps, if this is a good reminder, if this is helping you, what you're going through throughout your week, throughout your month, whatever your goals may be. Just give me an indication of if this is resonating. Chris says yes. Dawn says yes. I remind myself this every single day. On my board here, I've got questions that I ask myself consistently. One of them is just always remind yourself who and what you are. Because who and what you are, deep down, is what you're really after. Now, think of the business you can build with that reminder. So maybe also type in the chat, what's coming up for you guys? What emotions are you feeling right now? Whether it be stuck, confused, joy, peace, aliveness. Give me an indication on what's coming up for you guys. What are you feeling? And while you do that, I'll explain. Sometimes for me, before I sit down for an hour meditation, or, because a lot of I do about 2 hours of meditation a day, I'll just sit down, and sometimes, or most times, I'll continue. I'll start to sit down. I'll be in confusion, a lot of confusion, especially around business, especially around, what do I do next? That trap. And I'll be like, I'll just have that emotion of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm okay with that. And I just sit in confusion. And as I sit in confusion, more and more, it just fades away. So Louis is asking, I'm not sure if you pronounce it Louis or Lewis. But so what kind of meditation do you practice? There are many forms of meditation. It really depends on what's in everyone's expansion, on what is beneficial for you. I would basically sit in silence. And as I sit in silence, I just feel, my primary intention when I meditate is to connect with myself deeper. And that means just feeling everything, experiencing all of the thoughts that are coming up, experience all of the emotions that are coming up with no resistance. That to me is a feeling of connection with myself. And so I can naturally allow these emotions of confusion or doubt or frustration to just be there, to be seen, to be loved. so that they can transcend, so they can leave. And as I do that, as you just experienced, this well-being emerges. And I just sit in that well-being, and I just sit in that space of connection with myself, connection with everything. And the more I can practice that non-action and that space of being, the more love, creativity, flow comes through. And that guidance, I'll get excited about this next move. I'll get an idea, a higher level idea through creativity. I'll just be like, oh my God, yes. And then that's my next action. It's very guided. Very guided. Chris says, what does it mean when we are seriously indecisive about everything? That's a good, it's where a lot of people are at, right? And we could go in depth in this if I understand the situation a little bit more and what's coming up a little bit more, because there'll be a particular belief there. So if you're indecisive about a lot of things, let's this is a good question. It'll help a lot of people. So if you're indecisive about something, and if you're indecisive as a pattern, I could be wrong, but my intuition says you have a belief that says there's a right or wrong way to do something. And you have a belief that says my result depends on what action I take. This is something I've been meditating on a lot lately. The more peace you feel is directly in proportion to the amount of action you think will lead to your result. So the amount you feel you're in control of your result. It's kind of counterintuitive to what we are taught, but if it's in your expansion to start receiving, moving from the achiever to the receiver, so moving from the achiever phase to where you're receiving guidance from within through meditation, try this on. Try this belief, try this level of being where you're being guided by something that's so much bigger than what your mind can see. You're being guided by an infinite intelligence, by a universal mind, whatever you want to call it, the Tao. I love the Tao. Where's my book? Wayne Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Plenty of Tao type books here. The Tao Te Ching. I read the reminders all the time. What is it saying in there? Ancient wisdom says there's a guiding force that's leading you to your Dharma. There's this infinite intelligence that we're all connected to, that you're connected to, I'm connected to, that connects us, that is leading you towards your Dharma, what you're here to contribute, and who you're becoming, who you're meant to become. And if you can connect with that, you can start to feel peace when you realize that you're being guided, and what you have to practice is non-action in order to find that, in order to be more and more connected to that, the Tao-like energy that connects us. You actually have to practice non-action. So the more you sit, that's why the first day I did this about 9 months ago, I sat in this chair for about 6 hours in one day because I just wanted to connect with this and detach myself from the achiever. And so hold this belief, try it on, like trying on a new pair of pants. Just try it on, see if it fits, see if it feels good, see if it resonates, where you're being guided to the destination that you're meant to go to, the destination that most excites you, or something similar, of a similar vibration. You're being guided towards that. And that's going to happen in perfect timing. It's going to happen in perfect timing. It'll happen in harmony when you realize that your action isn't the determining factor. Is not the determining factor. Your action, the path, like the decisions you make and the strategy you use and the action you do is not the determining factor. What's the determining factor is your frequency, your energy, and your guided action. So a lot of people can get stuck in confusion or can be in overwhelm or maybe indecisive when they believe that they're in control, like their decision is what is going to determine their fate. So my decision that I make right now is going to either be good or bad, right or wrong. And so if you have that belief, if you're holding the belief like my decision right now is either good or bad, right or wrong, it's putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And it's saying that I control, it's saying like I'm in control of my fate. Whether I go down this path to doom or this path to victory and peace. And so what I'm offering, if it feels in your expansion, is to realize there are no good or bad decisions. There are no right or wrong decisions. What you might want to try on is when you feel in that space of when you sort of have two paths, realize, first of all, there are no just two paths. There are endless amount of paths. And what happens when you sit down and you just be the space for all those beliefs to be there, those thoughts to be there, those emotions to be there, and you realize there's endless possibility, you can just choose the one that feels the most exciting to your heart, the one that feels the most expansive. Let me turn this heater off. You can just choose and feel the one that feels the most expansive. That's not necessarily the one that's the most comfortable, but when you meditate and you practice this, you will feel in here what feels expansive. Right? It might feel scary. It might make no sense to your mind. It might make no sense of why you're doing that, but it will feel expansive here. And you will get that feeling and you will get that guidance when you meditate and you practice meditation. And that's what I mean by non-action, those who are asking. Practicing non-action means sitting down. If you have this belief like, I don't know what to do next, and you know no matter what you do next, it's going to be out of fear or scarcity or lack, right, or urgency, you can sit and feel for however long. I've just sat there for like a day sometimes because I don't know, I don't have any guidance on what to do next. I don't have guided action or something that feels exciting. I'll just sit there. I'll literally just sit there. Unheard of from a business owner. But I'll just sit there and then all of a sudden, bang, I'll have this pull or I'll have this insight or I'll break away a side of me that needed to be pulled apart. You know, the side of me that needs to achieve to feel enough, the side of me that needs to have this money to feel safe, that'll just break away. And I'll have this huge insight and breakthrough. I'll purge this pattern that I've had for decades, right? How much big of a release is that? And so I'll have this insight or this guidance or this awareness or this creative idea that feels like a pull. It'll feel scary, but it'll feel like a pull. And that's the action you take. One that feels guided, expansive. It feels like your heart's calling. It'll be part of your dharma. That's very, very different than following a strategy for safety. A lot of people are following life and business strategies so they can feel safe about getting an outcome. And what I'm here to offer is that might not come from the energy of your highest expansion. It may come from an energy of safety and an energy of urgency and scarcity, saying, I need to know the steps. I need to know all of this. I need to follow this step after step so that I get this result. Your heart doesn't operate from that way. It operates from a place of trust, guidance, expansion. Is this making sense? It's making sense to me. But I see a lot of questions coming through. So that's what I mean by non-action. Let me see if I missed any other questions. Is this making sense? Give me some indication. Okay, great. How do we change a belief of right or wrong? Here's my follow-up question. How do you know if it's right or wrong? If you feel pulled to make a decision, here's a hypothetical scenario. Let's say you're pulled to go to this business course, to take this business course. It's $10,000. Let's say it's your heart's calling. You've meditated. You can trust yourself. You can trust your guidance when you're feeling perfectly okay with everything in here and everything out there. That's how you know your beliefs. That's how you know the decision is heartfelt and aligned, because you're not being, it has no judgment. It has no attachment. It has no, reference by your stories. So when you're fine with everything in here, you're okay with everything in here and everything out there, you can truly trust yourself. You can truly trust your heart. But let's say you feel called in that moment to sign up for this 10 grand business course. And then you sign up, you get started, and all of a sudden it was a scam. What are your thoughts then? I'm interested to see what you guys will say. If anyone has something that's coming through for them, Sandra, it was a bad decision. What else would you guys, if you guys are willing to participate? Everyone's brave enough. I made a mistake. I can't trust myself now. I should have known better. Now, here's my question. If it was your heart's calling and if it felt expansive, yeah, I don't trust my judgment. If it felt expansive here and you took that action and you lost that money, how do you know that was a bad decision? How do you know that was a bad decision? Let's open this level of awareness, because it may very short term in the moment initially seem like you lost money. But let's open your awareness here. How do you know that was a bad decision? Because I lost the money, so I failed. Let's open this up. How do you know learning that lesson won't lead you to the circumstances where you actually find ways of making $1 million? That's one option. That's just one of endless amount of options, right? How do you know that because if you lost that, all of a sudden you join this scam prevention group where people are raising awareness around scam prevention and you meet the love of your life? What if all of a sudden, because of that experience, you start your own company, your own organization where you raise awareness, to online scams and you help people save hundreds of millions of dollars for the rest of your life? And that's now your passion where you now pour your heart into this organization and you create this huge amount of change around the world. Another option, they're just three of endless. And when I say endless, I mean endless amounts of scenarios. Another way of asking this and to summarize this is to ask yourself the question, how do I not know this is in my best interest, in my highest good? Right? Here's the question I ask myself all the time. It's like, what lesson am I learning here? What lesson is the universe trying to teach me? If it was your heart's guidance, it's in your highest expansion, even if your mind can't see why. Even if your mind can't see why, your mind's trying to figure something out. Your mind says, I lost $10,000. Your heart says $10,000 doesn't matter, is an illusion. What may be more beneficial than $10,000 is the lesson of I don't need to be attached to that. Maybe losing that $10,000 allows you to realize who and what you are internally. And through that creativity allows you to just create money on demand because you're giving so much value to the world because you're connected to who and what you are, which is connected to source. You guys can come up with your own scenarios as well of what might be possible for you. Right? How do you know that losing that $10,000 isn't going to help you actually get what you're truly after? And we weigh ourselves on right or wrong or good or bad decisions because of our mind. Our mind's trying to wrap itself around something that is so much bigger, so much more expansive. Your mind can't see that it's going to lead to so much more money, so much more peace, so much more internal fulfillment, right? So much more love. I love the people that you meet in these scenarios because your mind cannot see that. I've followed hunches and guidance to events, to Zoom calls, to introductions, and I've met the most in flow, aligned, synchronistic people, and your mind can never see that, right? How you meet the love of your life or that next business partner or that next, soul connection for that next collaboration or whatever it may be, your mind can't see that. But your heart knows you have to learn some lessons in order for that to come. So the question is, what lesson am I here to learn? What's the lesson? You're either being guided towards higher level opportunities or the lessons you're meant to learn. That's what your heart's guiding you towards. As long as you sit down, you can't have this chair's mine. But as long as you sit down and feel and breathe and follow that guidance, You will be led to higher level opportunities that your mind couldn't see, and to learn the deep lessons you're meant to learn. That often requires you losing something. This is what your mind freaks out about, but I'm here to deliver what's true for me and what I've learned. What you lose to your mind, what your mind sees as a loss, is often what needs to happen for you to learn the lessons, the deep lessons of who and what you are. If you want to be free from money, if you want to make a lot of money and be abundant with money and finances, you often have to learn the lesson that you are not your money and money is not your security. And therefore, sometimes the universe has to show you that you're fine without it. So there are some deep lessons here. I think this heightened level of consciousness is truly what needs to be introduced into the business world, where you can take guided action, you can use strategies that feel aligned and feel exciting, but then also completely detach yourself from the outcome or what your mind thinks it should look like. That's the wave of the new entrepreneur, the new online business owner, is one who can take guided action, but also complete non-attachment to whatever that leads to, what your mind thinks it should or shouldn't happen. I feel like I went into a bit of a trance. Just went on a tangent. Does this help? Sandra says, so something that seemed to be bad decision or mistake may not be. Exactly. Just your perspective, just what you're looking through. Beautiful. So once again, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for those who can join me on the workshop. I put the link in there, so feel free to jump on there. It'll be this time tomorrow. It's 10:54 a.m. here, so almost 11 a.m. So in almost 24 hours, that's when the workshop will be. So look forward to seeing you guys on there. Got a question from Sandra. So if you lose a lot of money, it could be a good thing. Totally. You don't know, so you shouldn't judge. Exactly. You don't know. How the hell do you know? Go back to some Byron Katie quotes. Right? Is that true? When you have a belief, always ask, is that true? If that belief isn't serving you, always ask, is it true? How do you know it to be true? What you'll start to realize is we don't know anything. We do not know anything. Money is not your safety. Money is not your safety. You are your safety. Here's a little indication. What do you think created money? Even in your own circumstances. What created money was your creativity, was your internal resourcefulness, right? Your connection to source created every single dollar you've ever made. So therefore, you are your safety. You are your security. Your creativity, your flow, your alignment, your connection to source, your connection to the Tao is your security, which is why you can sit in this chair and start to feel more secure, even if your bank balance doesn't change, because it's got nothing to do with money. Nothing. Now, money is important. Money can be used. Money is definitely a resource. I'm not here to devalue what money is here to give and provide, but just something to think about. So for those of you who want to jump on tomorrow, I'll see you there. For those of you who want to jump on the collaboration call next week, I'm always keen for those calls because they're beautiful with being able to connect everyone and being able to be in a space of serving. Always awesome. So thanks so much, everyone, for showing up live, sending you plenty of love, sending you plenty of support. What else do I need to remind you guys of? I think that's about it. If you have any questions, just feel free to send them my way. Wishing you a great rest of the week. It's an interesting time we're living in, but it's awesome that we're coming together in this way. So I'll see you guys on the call tomorrow. I'll see you guys next week on any of the Zoom calls you want to jump on. Feel free to put them in your phone as reminders. The collaboration call was same time yesterday. So I'll see you guys on there. I might even do this. I might even do some of these topics as a podcast episode. We'll see. Awesome, guys. Always a pleasure. Sending you plenty of love. Take care.